We're back. Only on the Channel 5.
The fact that 40% of the American population believes that creation was a divinely ordered event, made as simply as snapping one's fingers within the past 10,000 years, beggars belief. It only takes the time to turn a telescope to the cosmos to realize this is a gross oversimplification of the world in which we live. Furious comets, docile asteroids, frozen moons, swirling planets, burning stars, and luminous galaxies dot the heavens, screaming to us that existence is complex, messy, and ever-changing. This is not to say that there is no creative force in the universe. It's just that the creative force and regulatory force in the universe reveals itself through natural law. If I cite Dr. Jordan B. Peterson a lot in this podcast series, it is for a good reason. The man is intelligent, well-read, and has an obsession with history, religion, philosophy, and spirituality that makes my own desperate thirst for knowledge look meandering and amateur. He points quite accurately that the foundational myths of the Western world are echoed in other cultures. He points out that these stories very likely are outside our grasp of history, possibly originating tens of thousands of years in the past. These articulations of creation and history are not empirical stories based on a rationalist perspective, nor could they be. The closest thing the ancient world knew to a scientist using observation and objective measures was Aristotle, born 400 years before Christ. Not only were the origin stories in the Bible much older, but were recounted by men and women who did not conceptualize factual truth as separate from religious myth. Even if Aristotle marked the birth of rationality, he was a mere flame in the dark for objectivism, which had to be built upon for thousands of years before it became the dominating force it is in the modern world. These facts clearly articulate that the creation stories in the scriptures and the chronology specified are merely early and beautifully symbolic articulations of the nature of creation, existence, perspective, and the cosmos. Shoehorning cosmic reality into these myths is both absurd and ignoring the very beauty and truths they are meant to convey. If I define God as the creative and regulatory force in the universe, even if biblical myths are not factual, this force still very much exists. Even if religious experience communicated through human beings is factually incorrect or prescribes evil, that does not mean that men and women throughout history have not been overcome by a deep, soulful connection to the cosmos, the planet on which they live, the creatures that surround them, and the tribesmen they call family. Our forefathers wished to pass down wisdom and guidance to us, and we would be fools to ignore them. We would also be fools to hang on to every word they said as if it were mundane fact. The story of creation was meant to come up with the best description of how the world came to be, and man's role as a dominating natural force, both as a part of and transcendent to nature. The story of Adam and Eve is meant to convey the nature of existence, chaos, temptation, knowledge, and vulnerability. The story of Cain and Abel is meant to convey two ways in which to be in the world. We can choose to be bitter, vindictive, self-loathing, and externalize our rage on the outside world, or we can work diligently, make the right sacrifices, assume responsibility, and attempt to live within the rules of the world that was created for us. The Tower of Babel warns us that the worship of the creations of man is no replacement for the transcendent, a lesson we should remember in an age dominated by empiricism and the belief that man alone can conquer the universe with his mind. The flood story warns us that we live in an ever-shifting world and that the only way to survive is to have foresight, ingenuity, a lust for life, and to follow the life paths that are best for us, our family, and our societies. Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, pondered the nature of suffering and realized that there was one force present in our existence: change. One could become more powerful in the acceptance and embracing of that force. The world presented by cosmology, abiogenesis, and evolution is of course a more sterile conception of creation, but is still nonetheless miraculous. Even science acknowledges that our universe was born of the void for a reason that mystifies us to this day. Science acknowledges the irrationality, difficulty, and complexity of the emergence of life, a miracle that we cannot explain. Science acknowledges that as life came to grapple with its existence, it chose different paths, attempting in each life form to follow the natural laws of the creative force. Science acknowledges that at present we are an impossibly complex life form with a consciousness we can't explain and a strong desire to know, grapple with, and love our existence. Evolution merely means that as existence and life continues, we accept and adapt to change as it comes. We must remember the lessons of our ancestors and evolve with this world.